image localization and object detections are very important computer vision task. Basically, they need to learn two different tasks. One is for classification task. So we basically have to classify each object inside the image. And also we have to point out where the object is located. So basically, for any input image, when there is some object, we have to find out some box that contain the image object, and also we have to indicate the class index for the object. So this is kind of two task, regression task and the classification task. The regression is for the accuracy on the how well our box contain the object, and the classification task is how accurately we can indicate the class index for the object. So the objective detection task or image localization task, we have to very carefully design the loss function. Right, so for the classification task, we can introduce cross entropy. For the regression task, we can introduce some L2 loss function using the two corners of the box. But here, because we consider two tasks at the same time, basically, we have to very carefully consider the balance between the classification loss function and the regression loss function. If this loss function is too big, then this loss function will dominate your loss training process. So when you learn backpropagation and when you learn gradient descent algorithm using the backpropagation rule, when this value is much bigger than this value, all your gradient will be decided by this cross entropy. So in the end, your classification will be very nice, can be very nice, but the regression task, maybe you have much error, because your training process always decided by the cross entropy. So your training process do not care about the accuracy on the regression task, how accurately your box located in your image. So usually we introduce some additional hyperparameter to control the balance between regression loss and classification loss. And this is very important hyperparameter, and you have to very carefully tune the parameter so that you have a very nice accuracy. Okay, and also the balance between the loss shape was important. So in some cases, we do not use cross entropy for classification loss, but we use hinge loss, because sometimes hinge loss is more well balanced and it works very well with the L2 loss function. So yeah, it very depends on your application and your architecture, of course. But this is a very important side remark when you consider multitask learning like object detection or image localization or even the pose estimation. You have to add many different objective functions for different tasks. So, and it is very important to balance the loss function for each task. Otherwise, some of them or one of the tasks will dominate your training process and your result will be dominated by just one single task. And so all the remaining task performance can become very poor. Okay,